Okay, so I was just doing a Google search, image search, and I found these. I don't know when the Google, obviously the car went by, but I found this car, and this is parked right across from basically the entrance of Sigma Chi. And then there was that's the white car, a more different angle, and then there's that white car right there. But this white car is the one right there that I'm getting images of. It looks like a Mustang almost from that angle, but that's another white car. And then this I found odd. Outside looking, this person seems to know quite a bit. And they're saying they're convinced that the way they phrase it is like they know who did it and why. It's not that simple. Someone says, if you know this, report it. And they're saying it's not us. It was at the Sigma Chi party. He followed Ethan and Xana home. He's saying that Xana was the target. Wasn't friends with all the girls. It was rage-filled in a response. He's not in Moscow now. The end. By he, I mean the killer. He was not a regular at the girl's house, but yes, he was at Sigma Chi. I'll add that, yes, he knew and was familiar with them, but no, he wasn't a regular at the house and didn't know all the girls. I believe this is the very first comment that initiated the whole thing. I believe we're paying too close attention to Kaylee and Maddie. All have been cleared around them. We've heard nothing about what happened at the Sigma Chi party with Xana and Ethan. Trust me, something did happen. There's a reason Sigma Chi's Idaho Instagram went private and all Facebook posts have been deleted back to 2018. Except I went there and saw on the Instagram, and there was posts from 2021. This person followed them back from just a couple blocks away and watched. The survivors were already downstairs and in bed. He saw Kaylee and Maddie come home. He waited until they all went to sleep, not knowing there were two downstairs. He went in a rage and killed the four and left back out the second floor sliding door. It's pretty simple. Now will they find him? That's what happened. Go to Sigma Chi. Yeah. Okay, so to give more context, the first half of that video, I was just trying to do like a little rough over so I didn't forget what I was going to talk about. But the first half of that video, the white car that I was showing, those images are from when I did a Google map search, because I was just looking for the address of Sigma Chi. And so I think it was a few months ago is when those images were taken. Hi, Dave. It was a couple months ago when those images were taken, because it was when you see the Google car driving around and recording, because they're doing that to update the Google Maps. So I believe it was a few months ago when the Google car captured that white car sitting in front of Sigma Chi, or across the street, but in front of Sigma Chi. Now, I follow a lot of true crime channels, and there's one, he goes by the name True Crime Bloke, and he was awesome. And for me, on his live yesterday, basically did like a side-by-side of the image I caught of the white car, plus and the other image that he did was the car that was captured by that gas station security camera, and he like superimposed one over the other, and basically they look like a lot alike. And so I mean, what I'm thinking is that because that looks like they don't necessarily know for sure. Like, people are like, no, it's this year of a car and this make and model of a car. No, they think it's a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai. But there are several different cars that look similar to a Hyundai Elantra. That's not, obviously. But the car that I showed at the beginning was almost exactly like the car that you saw in the gas station security camera. And I know that, like, obviously the law enforcement is like inundated by a lot of information and a lot of tips and a lot of like waste of their time. But the gentleman yesterday suggested that I should turn that over to the police, because it was just a random image on Google search, like, happened to catch it. Someone else told me that no, it's like a silver car they're looking for. I don't know. But I'm really getting into this true crime. I mean, I've always been into true crime. I just got sucked into the drama, I guess, too, for a while, but it's just not worth it. And I don't know, this case is weighing a lot on me. It just so much of it doesn't make sense. However, I do find it very plausible that the two surviving roommates didn't hear very much of, if anything, and if they did hear something, they could have thought it was just them being loud upstairs or a party or a movie or something. Because just the other day I had a situation. A friend of mine, I know they'll get them. They'll totally get them. A friend of mine, because a friend of mine has like this kind of like big house. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedroom house, and he's house sitting some dogs. Another one of the roommates' dogs got into the backyard and was attacked by one of the dogs that my friend was dog sitting. And the dog's fine, he's okay and everything. But the owner of the puppy that was attacked, hey, tender tendies, was screaming at the top of their lungs. And my friend doesn't know necessarily if the scream woke him up or something else woke him up, because he barely heard the scream. And there's only maybe 3 walls, 2.5 rooms that are separating him from the backyard area where this was happening. And at first he said he thought the scream was on a movie, like on TV. That's what he was hearing. He didn't even realize that it was like an actual scream until he heard commotion, from another roommate. And then he like realized like, okay, that's coming from like my house. So I do find it plausible given the circumstances. They were so, on another floor, like, and if they were drinking or groggy or anything like that. Well, I don't think it's purposefully soundproof. I think a lot of it, if I seen the property correctly, like it's got like ground around half of the side of the floor. So yeah, there would be some sort of sound barrier in there. But like I said, if any of them had their TV going or their radio going, it could have just. I do find it plausible that it's possible that they could have heard like something, but not. They wouldn't have heard like the full thing. But then again, you don't know, because there had to have been some screaming. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of it doesn't make sense, but I do believe that the law enforcement, they know more than they're telling us, and that's how it's always going to be in any investigation, in any situation, anything. There's certain information they're not going to release to the public, for the simple fact it could hinder their investigation, because like say they could probably already have an idea. Yes, tender tendy, sorry. They could already have a suspect in mind, but they're not going to release that information so that the suspect stays comfortable, like they got away with it, so they don't like run off and hide. You know what I'm saying? They'll keep doing their normal thing, which gives the investigators time to watch them, keep an eye on them. Yeah, so it makes sense as far as that goes. But this is what I don't understand is it still hasn't been confirmed whether or not the bedroom doors were locked. Because there's another podcast that I watch that I love watching, and it's Failure to Stop, and it's Mike the Cop and Eric Tansey, both former officers. And they were talking about the case, and they happened to talk about how, I don't remember exactly like verbatim what they said, but they were talking about how the cops had to fight, basically deal with getting through the locked doors. And, they made their sarcastic comment about exactly, tender tendies. Made a comment about how like, oh, that's when you call the landlord, blah, 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 blah. And like, then I read somewhere else that the reason why the dispatch or the 911 call was originally dispatched as a unconscious person is because what I read, this is not a for sure 100%. This is not factual. Like, anything that I say on here is not factual, obviously. Yeah. that apparently the neighbor, or I guess one of the roommates, found Ethan and basically ran outside like screaming, like started calling 911 and possibly passed out. And like a neighbor found the roommate passed out and got on the phone with 911. And at that point, the neighbor would have only seen the passed out roommate outside. And that's where it would be originally initiated as an unconscious person. Oh yeah, totally tender. Yeah, oh my gosh, that case was crazy. Um, there's a lot of potential, obviously, suspects, and like the neighbor is pretty trippy. I don't know if you guys know the channel Evil Exists, but I've always found them to be very upfront and unbiased, and they brought some attention to the neighbor because the neighbor on some Facebook post originally said he didn't hear a scream. And then just recently he's come out saying that he did hear a scream. He's got a lot of, he's a chef, so he's got obviously experience with a knife. And he's like literally, I believe he's the one neighbor that has like a fence or something that's near the property. But there's a lot, like people have said, a lot of misinformation, a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. But I do believe the car that I saw that I showed at the beginning. I do believe it's very, very, very similar, if not the car that was caught in the security cam from that gas station. 100% believe it. And it was parked, like I said, right across from Sigma Chi. And I guess, I don't know. I don't know if it's been confirmed. Oh, Breezy, yeah, I haven't really stopped watching it. I just, life gets you busy sometimes and all that jazz. But I've never really like been this like this involved in it. Exactly, Breezy. Not ever been like this involved in it. Of course, I've always like watched and like had my opinion, but I've never like actively like tried to search for things. But the last half of that video was about those Reddit posts. I'm not saying that I think the guy who made the post, I'm not saying that, oh, that's the murderer. No, I believe he has information about who the murderer is, and that either people like won't believe him or would rather not waste their time on who he knows is a killer. I mean, there's so many things about it, but it just seemed like there was one or two comments that the person made on Reddit that made it seem, okay, well, maybe he does know something. And the one main comment that he said was, I could lead LE right to the killer, but would they listen, or would they rather just create their own like stories, blah blah blah. So I don't remember exactly how to phrase it, but it was like one of those comments that were like, you're not giving a shit trying to prove the fact that you're lying. You just know what's going on and nobody's listening. It's hard for me to like really have an opinion on who I could think it is, because all these names that are getting put out there are not names that have been released by LE. As far as we are all aware of, they have no suspect. So all these names are really just rumors or possibilities or our own suspects. However, I did find, doing like just checking stuff out, there was I don't know why, I don't remember exactly how I came across it, but there was there's somebody on Kaylee's. I'll have to go look back at my video because I didn't write it down. But I found an account on one of the ladies' a Facebook friend list. Goes by the name Hunter. And Hunter, in a couple of, he has this video on his channel and a couple of other pictures of him basically holding a K-bar knife. And the video, I would just look at the video. It shows him and a couple other of his friends, like literally gutting and like the meat. They were like packaging the meat and everything. And, one of them's got a knife in their mouth, but they're all K-bar knives. I don't know. It's just to check it out, but I don't know. So you never know. But Kaylee's ex, Jake or Jack, I don't think it's him. I don't even think he doesn't seem like he's strong enough. Obviously people get, excuse me for saying this, retard strength, but to take out 4 people, you'd have to be somewhat built and bigger and being able to overpower 4 people, especially if you're just a single, you're just one person, like, and that Hunter guy is a pretty big dude. And he was on one of the girls' friends list, but not the others. Crime Circus. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. There's so many channels right now. You've never heard that before, Tender Tendies? Retard strength is like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but if you're laughing, you're basically getting it. I don't know, but I'm really, really obsessed with this case. And honestly, I wish somebody could, look at the information from the inside. It's hilarious, the Tender Tendies. That's what I'm saying, Breezy. Like, like that single, nerdy looking dude that in an emergency runs up and is able to lift a car off of, a person, during an accident. That's retard strength. That's retard strength. But I really want to know what law enforcement knows. I do believe, though, even though the parents are frustrated, that there are reasons why Ellie doesn't want any, like, legit, yeah. Oh, no, Tender Tendies. No, they're not mentally retarded. Just kind of like a retard straight, like all of a sudden, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'll have to explain it to you later. But there's a reason why law enforcement doesn't want rewards out yet regarding the case. And that's because if you put out a reward, more people are going to be more willing to spend time or people that know stuff that hasn't come forward are more than likely going to come forward because they want the reward money. So my theory is that they do have a suspect, if not more than one, and they're watching them and monitoring them and getting information or getting the evidence they need, like DNA. Not always do they leave, like, okay, because if they found DNA but the DNA is not in their system, then it's not that easy to find a name to go with the DNA. I have faith in the FBI. I don't know if I have faith in the local law enforcement, but they're not, the last murder happened in 2013 or something like that. I just don't think that they're manned, fully equipped to, handle an investigation like that. But I do believe that they found DNA. It's just not somebody who's been in trouble before. And so I do believe they're monitoring 1, 2, maybe 3 suspects and getting that DNA. And just like you see on the movies or on TV, they're probably following them, monitoring them, and trying to get like a soda that they take a sip off of, or a cigarette butt they smoked on, or, they're trying to get that DNA. Oh, you're welcome, tender tendies. I'm glad that made you laugh. I appreciate you both hanging out. Thank you. Like, I've just been wanting to talk about the case because it really does have me like so many unanswered questions. And they're onto something. There's information we don't know because more than likely, exactly, Scarface, because more than likely, like in most cases, when they do press conferences, they tell you everything they know. And there's just so many unanswered questions. And some of these questions that are unanswered are questions that could easily be answered by a monkey. If the monkey was an investigator, like the 911 call. It's crazy that hasn't been released or leaked or anything yet. So they're onto something. And it is such a small town, and given that it's a university and there's the sororities and the fraternities, like fraternities and sororities are almost like damn near gangs, but for the elite. I got you, tender tendies, thank you. But it's like a code, like you don't rat them out. You help them bury a body, literally. Like there's just tight lips, basically. So I do think law enforcement does know more. But yeah, you guys should check out True Crime Bloke channel, specifically yesterday's live, because he did take the time, like I said, to do the side-by-side comparison and the super imposing of the image that I found. And I'm gonna play the video real quick one more time. It's only like 3 minutes long. Actually only like a minute and a half, because I just want you to see the first part of it. Yes. However, they say that a call originated in the house. Well, if it could have originated in the house if the roommate found one of the roommates, murdered. And so the 911 call was initiated in the house. And then I do believe that the roommate that found one of the victims ran outside and in a state of shock, maybe passed out or something. And then maybe a neighbor, thank you, Chris, maybe a neighbor found them unconscious and got on the phone with 911 to say, hey, there's this person unconscious outside the house. I don't really know. That's what I'm saying. That answer, that right there, like that doubt and room and all that could easily be answered by the officers if they wanted to, but obviously they don't. There's something is significant about that 911 call for them to leave that much of a shadow and that much privacy to that call. Because 911 calls are usually, publicized fairly quickly, unless there's evidence or something significant of the call. So that 911 call is very important because, as we've all known and heard, there were several different people that dispatch talked to at that time. One of those friends that one of the roommates called over could be the killer. Like, I don't know. I did just see a video though. Well, I skimmed past it quickly, but I guess Jack, Kaylee's ex, Jack, has a roommate, and the roommate's name is Adam. The roommate's name is Adam. So, which makes that other recently released video clip, when you hear Kaylee said, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? And Maddie's like, I told Adam everything. So like the way it kind of sounds was like maybe something happened with Kaylee. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. This is my opinion. Maybe something happened with Kaylee and another guy. And maybe Maddie had said all of it or whatever to Adam, the roommate of Jack. Oh, exactly, Scarface. I don't know if you heard my story though, but I do find it plausible that they didn't like fully hear the murder, but they maybe could have. They probably more than likely heard like a scuffle or, how they could have thought, the neighbor, upstairs was just having some wild sex. Like, I do find it plausible that the roommates didn't like full on hear, especially if they were intoxicated or if they had a TV or a radio on. Um, Given the layout of the house, there are a couple channels that did a really good job at very detailed coverage of the layout of the house. But you never know, especially because Kaylee and Maddie were on the third floor. Well, yeah, what they call the third floor. And if they were killed first, maybe Ethan or Azana did hear something, and one of them got up to see what was going on, and they were over one or both of them were overpowered at that time. But I believe they were. I don't understand if they were in bed or not. That's what I don't understand. Because if there was blood everywhere, exactly, Scarface. That's what I'm saying. It seemed like it was like a tell-all. Like I said everything. Um, but it seems if there was blood all over the house, like that would mean it didn't just happen in the bedrooms. Like that would mean there was a fight, which would mean if they were in bed, they were found in bed, it almost makes me think they were placed in bed. Maybe, Breezy. I mean, yeah, Chris, I will talk to you about that later, but yeah, that you definitely don't want to put your address out there. No, no way, hun. Yeah. So it's crazy. Well, you shouldn't do that, and don't do it in my chat either. And Chris, YouTube though's been filtering out addresses and stuff, so I don't think anybody saw it. Well, that's the thing, Scarface, and it would make sense that either the killer knew the two roommates were down there and know them or something and left them alive, or the killer didn't know that those two were down there asleep. So, or they were in on it. That's the thing. I don't know, there's a lot of crazy connections. Like I guess recently, the girls, three, I think, of the four, well, obviously the two girls, Maddie and Kaylee, were involved in some sort of like hazing ritual. I don't know, like there was like some bullying or picking on people. And well, I'm under the impression that I was like, from what I've gathered from everything that's been speculated, that there was blood all over the house, not just in the bedrooms. And it would be like, if you find blood, no one's answering the door. I don't think you would call it in as an unconscious person unless I don't know. So I'm saying you're that oblivious that you don't see blood everywhere. So you call, like, I don't know about that. There's so much doubt, so much room for question. And like I said, these questions could be easily cleared up by law enforcement but they're not. And there's a reason why they're not answering those questions. They're not dumb. There's a reason why they're not answering the questions. The serial killer may not have known there was rooms down below. Because if you're standing out in front of the house on the street side, basically, or yeah, one side of the house, it only looks like there's 2 stories. On the other side of the house, you can tell that there's 3 different levels. The 3rd level, the bottom level is, basically like probably like was an old garage or, car garage that got turned into bedrooms for a fraternity house, sorority house. So they're down. The killer may not have known there was rooms down there. Well, that's what I think, Breezy. I do believe that Kaylee probably had more significant wounds and whatnot, because she probably woke up when Maddie was being attacked, and so she had warning and was able to fight back more than Maddie would have been, and vice versa with Xana and Ethan. So, like I said, there's reasons why law enforcement isn't answering these easily answerable questions. And same reason with the 911 call. There's reasons why that hasn't been released, and there's reasons why it hasn't been cleared up. I haven't heard about that, Gish. Which one are you talking about? The neighbor guy? Is that who you're talking about? Well, that's what I'm saying. There's another theory that something happened between Xana and somebody. There was a fight at the Sigma Chi party, because I guess Ethan and Xana were at a Sigma Chi party. I'll have to look into that one. No, Caesar Man, they've not found the killer. No, Gish, I will let you know more about that when I'll go look into that actually when I get off here. They probably do. They probably do know who the killer is, Caesar Man. That's why I'm telling you. There's a reason why some of these really easily answerable questions aren't being answered, because they are still investigating it. And those aspects are significant. They probably do have 1, 2, 3 suspects, and they're still getting the evidence or monitoring them, and they don't want to scare them. They don't want to let them know they're a suspect, so they don't leave. So they probably do have an idea of who the killer is. And like I said, they could have very well found DNA, someone else's DNA with blood or anything. Who knows? It could have been a sexual, reason why this happened. You don't know, but I do believe they probably found DNA, but given the person was probably never in trouble before, their name and stuff isn't in the system. So they could be monitoring suspects to get the DNA evidence. I would never do lines in the VFW bathroom. That's weird. I don't think anybody saw your address, Chris. YouTube has addresses and stuff like that filtered out where you can't really put your address in a chat. You would still see it, but nobody else will. It would have been shadow banned. They didn't clear anybody. They just haven't named any of them a suspect. There's a difference. That's cool. Oh, sir, that's awesome. I know what you meant, hammer. But yeah, I do believe they have a suspect in mind. That's funny. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's kind of hella disrespectful. Ooh, but I do believe that the card that they're looking for. Now, this is what I don't understand. So, okay, they're looking for a white Honda car, Hyundai, that was in the vicinity at the time of the murders. Something had to have made them think that that car was specifically involved in that murder, because I don't know how many fucking other cars did you see on the body cam. Like, there's something happened, they saw something, somebody heard something, or some sort of tip, something was pointed out for them to think that car has some sort of significance. Well, so far the guy's gotten lucky, but like I said, Caesar man, they probably do have a suspect in mind. They're just not going to say it because they don't want anybody to. They don't want to scare them away. They don't want them to run away. Because if the suspect knows they're a suspect, they're more than likely going to run and hide. And then they won't be able to get the DNA evidence they need, or be able to monitor them, or phone calls, or emails, or anything. Exactly, Scarface. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Breezy's. They didn't clear anybody. They just have not stated that any of them are a suspect. Such a weird way to ask that question. He very well could, well, it could be a she, you don't know, not necessarily a guy. But the murderer, yes, if they very well could, if they know that they are being honed in on, yes. I just don't know. Exactly. A lot, Chris. Four University of Idaho students were murdered in the same house, and they still haven't found the killer. I guess there was a similar crime that happened, but this was in Oregon, I believe. Washington or Oregon. It was in Oregon. And wow, the skin dog was like a year or so prior, right, Breezy? It very well could be, though. It could very well be similar to it. And the crime happened. A intruder broke into a house and stabbed a young gentleman and his mother. Like, the mother was stabbed 19 times and survived. I don't recall how many times her son was stabbed, but he did not make it. But they didn't know who it was. The guy was in and out, and they never caught him. That was 2021. No, I did not hear about that. Hmm. Interesting, Chris. I was wondering about that too. I don't know necessarily if anything was cleaned up. I have not heard anything about that yet. But yes, the killer themselves would have had 7-8 hour leeway gap to clean themselves up and run and do whatever it is they need to do. Hi, Hammer. Definitely so sad for the families. I couldn't even imagine. I could not imagine having to go through that. It's heartbreaking. It's just being some random person in some other state, like, oh yikes, okay. Okay, I'll have to look that up too, Breezy. So I'm gonna play a little clip real quick. And I didn't, because I'm an idiot, I didn't think about clarifying it in the video. But I'm just show a little clip, and the clip is of a white car that I found doing a Google image search, or Google Maps. I was just looking for the address of Sigma Chi. And you guys know how the Google car goes around and records everything and to update Google Maps. Well, there's a white car that looks just almost exactly like the car that was found in that gas station security camera. The car that I found sitting right across the street in front of Sigma Chi looks just like that car. So I'm going to play it real quick. But and the Google car image, the one that I just found, is probably like 3 months old, meaning it was taken prior to the killings. Like probably a half of a month, if not 1 month before the killings. Okay, so I was just doing a Google search, image search, and I found these. I don't know when the Google, obviously the car went by, but I found this car, and this is parked right across from basically the entrance of Sigma Chi. And then there was that's the white car, a more different angle, and then there's that white car right there. But this white car is the one right there that I'm getting images of. It looks like a Mustang almost from that angle, but that's another white car. And then this I found on. And actually, well, yeah, you should check out True Crime Bloke's channel. Specifically the live from yesterday, because he took the time to superimpose the car from the gas station camera over the car that I saw right there. Yeah. Like I said, that image is like 3 months old, so I'm sure the killer wouldn't be stupid enough to park the car around there now, but before the murders and none of this was going on and they weren't being investigated, why wouldn't they park their car where they would park their car? So yeah. What WTF what, Hammer? I will definitely, Breezy. Idaho. What's up with the white car? Okay, I'll show the little clip again. But I was just doing the Google Map search looking for the address for the Sigma Chi fraternity. And the images that I'm about to show you are a couple months old. Like, basically, the image was taken probably like a month before the murders. And it shows pretty much the same exact car that they're looking for, and it looks just like the one that they got in that security cam footage. So I'll just show the clip one more time. 1 second. Okay, so I was just doing a Google search, image search, and I found these. I don't know when the Google, obviously the car went by, but I found this car, and this is parked right across from basically the entrance of Sigma Chi. And then there was that's the white car, a more different angle, and then there's that white car right there. But this white car is the one right there that I'm getting images of. It looks like a Mustang almost from that angle, but that's another white car. And then yeah, but how many other cars were in the vicinity of the murders? A ton of cars. So somebody said something, there was tip, they saw something, somebody heard something made that white car significant. Maybe it's connected to one of the suspects that they have that they're not telling us about, and so they want to find that car because more than likely the suspect is with the car, but they're not going to tell us. Anyways, I just wanted to come on and show that. Oh shit, I'm tired. I need to get the whole fancy set up so I can pull stuff up better and yeah, all that jazz. Gosh, it's getting so cold. Is everyone still live? Hammer. I'll do more like discussion on this tomorrow again, Breezy. I'm gonna get myself caught up with all the information that's just come out in the last couple of days. But what do you think about the images of the white car that I got, Breezy? I chat in the big ones every once in a while, but yeah, I think it looked, I don't know, people just lose sight of the whole point. Because like I'm really kind of bummed because like Bombshell has, was true crime, and Molly Golightly was true crime, and all these channels like now they're just like turning into like drama. Like I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, Krilldozer, that's not what I'm talking about. So you think that it seems interesting? I don't know, because it's a lot of the rumors are swirling around somebody at Sigma Chi, or stemming from Sigma Chi, and that car right there is 100% looks. So have you seen the image of the car that the security camera at the Food Mart gas station caught? Have you seen that one, Breezy? I did send that into because a couple other people told me I should too. And they said, what's it gonna do? Like, it's not really gonna cause any damage. So they're like, okay. I said, okay, I'll send it in. And that's cool, Chris. That's cool. I might have to go say hi to Pebs. Oh, man. I appreciate you guys in chat letting me talk about this and not, like, trolling me hella bad. Okay. Well, yeah, the true crime bloke last night on his live took the time and superimposed my image and the image from the gas station security camera together, and they look strikingly similar. God, Krill Dozer, oh my god, you're such a mess. Oh shoot. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I was just doing a Google search, image search, and I found these. I don't know when the Google, obviously the car went by, but I found this car, and this is parked right across from basically the entrance of Sigma Chi. And then there was that's the white car, a more different angle, and then there's that white car right there. But this white car is the one right there that I'm getting images of. It looks like a Mustang almost from that angle, but yeah, so you should be able to, I don't know, it's kind of like near the end. I would say about 20 minutes before the end of the live is when I pop in, and then that's when we start talking about it, and he does that for me. Oh my god, I'm so cold. But I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to show that off a little bit. What do you mean, get some cameras, Chris? Um, I've considered that, but I'm not sure if I necessarily need them. But I've considered that, and I do believe my neighbors have them already. Two, I should say. But I'm gonna end this live and start a new one because I'm going to sing some songs now. No, you're all good, Chris. You're totally all good. So yeah, I'm gonna end this and then I'm gonna restart one. No, it's called being sick. Of course, Breezy. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank everybody for joining me except for Quildozer. But I'll be back on in like 15 minutes. So thank you. Bye.